Hello, welcome to another edition of Crop Life Retail Week. I'm Eric Sfiligoj, editor of Crop Life and Crop Life Iron magazines, here again today with Lara Sowinski. Laura, thanks for joining us and appreciate the backdrop.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to keep it fresh,
Yeah, that's good. As you know, whatever gets you out of the broom closet. Although, well, all right, less said the better. Um, so hey, yeah, our last video for the month of May. I mean, the year is flying along, of course, and I know you and I have been following a lot of information regarding, of course, this time of year weather patterns and crop plantings are a lot of big news. And I think you actually have some things to share regarding the former, correct?
Yeah, just a news item that caught my eye this week. Um, Pretty severe drought, and you can tell it must be we're
Easy
leading
for
up to
you
a,
to
a,
say, yeah.
a holiday weekend because I'm clearly halfway there. Nonetheless, yeah, pretty severe drought in North Africa, particularly Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia. So USDA forecasting that because of this drought, 31.7 million tons of imported wheat, which is a record import for the region, is the estimate for the 23-24 season. So, yeah, we're looking at drought not only in North Africa, but I think, you and I were talking about Great Plains drought. I know there's been some rainfall that's been helpful this past week, but I think still there's something to watch there. Actually, one news item, closer to home, a farmer, a rancher in Nebraska was talking about, the lack of hay and the prices of hay. So again, kind of related to what is now the second year for drought in the Great Plains. So we'll keep our eye on that. But yeah. So while the West is enjoying a reprieve from the decades long drought, we're looking at other areas. So yep, that's the news. That's all I have.
Well, hey, quick question though on the North African situation. Did the USDA report mention where the wheat was being imported from, what region or countries?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I, when I was scouring to try and determine that, again, whether this was Ukrainian wheat, I wasn't able to determine that. But we'll see what we can find out, and I'll give you an update.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting because I know I was looking at a USDA report not too long ago that said that their anticipation is that, over the next few years that supply might outstrip demand worldwide for certain crops like corn and soybean was mentioned in that report, but didn't say anything about wheat. So I'd
Mm-hmm.
just be curious to find out where the wheat was coming from. So yeah, if you could update our
For
viewers
sure.
on this one, stay tuned. We'll give you an update. So.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Well, speaking of climate, of course,
Mm-hmm.
one thing, of course, everybody has been focusing on, of course, is climate smart agriculture. And actually found an item this week that had to do with two very good industry friends of ours. CF Industries has now teamed up with C&H,
Mm-hmm.
the big ag
Mm-hmm.
retail community, and they are actually going to produce together a a new form of low carbon nitrogen fertilizer. So this will be helping to reduce greenhouse gas emissions using this fertilizer. Um, I guess in this arrangement, CF is going to leverage its knowledge to produce ammonia, which is a building block for nitrogen-based fertilizer products with lower Scope 1 carbon dioxide emissions. And then they are going to help C&H is going to help market that product as it comes into the marketplace to it through its cooperatives to growers around the United States. So again, this will be coming into the market very quickly, and hopefully, again, it'll help to reduce some of the carbon emissions that we've had in agriculture when you're using nitrogen-based fertilizer. So
Yeah, no, that's a great news item. I saw that as well. Pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. So yeah, we'll have more on that as the product becomes available. I'm sure it'll have a nice branded name and we'll be able to report it, maybe have a logo to share with our viewers in upcoming videos. So, and hey, one other thing, I know we've been talking the last, I don't know, year or so regarding sort of the artificial intelligence, autonomous vehicles, smart spraying technology. John Deere See and Spray, we focused on that about a week ago with my visit with the MFA John Deere folks. And then this week we found out that CNH Industrial, which owns Raven Industries and also Case IH, has now formally formed an agreement to collaborate with One Smart Spray, which is the joint venture of Bosch and BASF. And they're going to be incorporating the One Smart Spray system into um, Case IH and New Holland branded sprayers going forward, with Raven's team leading that effort. So again, these systems that use cameras and sensors to detect where the weed is in the field and then spot spray it. Um, we've seen, I know AGCO a couple of weeks ago had a similar arrangement with One Smart Spray. And of course, John Deere has See and Spray. So again, all this brings me back to, I'm very much looking forward to the summer's trade shows, Maggie, Farm Progress, because again, there's usually ride and drive areas where a lot of things are demonstrated on how, different sprayers can operate in the field, and some of their features can be looked at up close. I imagine this summer shows we're going to see a lot of See and Spray, smart spraying demonstrations at those events. So I very much am looking forward to those events coming up in August.
Yeah, you're right. I think not only the potential for AI with machinery and equipment, but I think that, for obviously from many years, the issue of interconnectivity, integration, interoperability, devices, machinery, equipment. I think AI is going to be able to give us that big leap to connect things in a way that we haven't been able to thus far. So yeah, you're right. It's pretty exciting times, and I'm looking forward to joining you.
Yeah,
And when
well, and actually, even before that, in July, we've got an event geared towards ag technology. If you want to give another shout out to that, if you would.
we do indeed, we've been talking about our exciting Tech Hub Live for 2023 in Des Moines, end of July, July 24th through 26th, and AI and actually all of the emerging and advanced technologies will be prominent in the program, which is focused, of course, on ag tech, primarily as it pertains to the ag retailers and their farmer grower customers. So super excited. Every day we're, adding more roundtables, more, in fact, we're almost kind of running out of slots, which is a very desirable place to be in terms of the event and the program. So we're super excited. So techhublive.com for more information. We hope to see you there in Des Moines.
Yeah, very good. Looking forward to it. And again, we do have to share some information in an upcoming video here in the next week or two regarding the before Tech Hub Live event party, because I know last year we did foaling, which was fun, but this year I'm sure we have something to even top that, hopefully. So we're teasing that now, but we'll stay tuned for a future video. We'll give you more information on that.
Yep, sounds good.
All right. Well, Miss Laura, time for your favorite segment of the show. Time for Fun with Numbers.
Well, I'm feeling better and better every week that goes by.
Well, and you will catch on, because again, I'm the number this week ties to something, and the choices are all going to be similar. So you're going to have to use your best guesstimation to get it right. But if you did like you did last week, I think you'll do fine.
Okay.
All right. So your number this week, 72%.
Alrighty.
Okay. So is 72%, is that the percentage of oranges to be grown in California in 2023? Is it B, the percentage of grapefruit to be grown in California in 2023? Is it C, the percentage of lemon and limes to be grown in California in 2023? Or is it D, the percentage of time in recent days my son has focused on his summer break plans and not schoolwork, since we're about a week out from the end of the school year?
Well, let's see. I'm gonna go with A.
Good call. Yes, oranges. Yeah, I was very surprised about this. I know, I know for years now we've been hearing more about, citrus greening and the various
Right?
hurricanes and how badly it's actually decimated the Florida orange growing business. And I was very, very surprised. I ran across this item from USDA where they were talking about orange production. Now, there were 4 states, apparently, California, Florida, Texas, and Arizona, where oranges are produced and the USDA tracks numbers for. But this year, they're no longer tracking Arizona because apparently the output's too small. So that leaves California, Florida, and Texas. Now, Florida has, throughout the 2000s, led the nation in orange production. Back in 2000, for instance, the state produced 233 million boxes of oranges. Now, comparison, that same year, California had 64 million boxes they were producing, Texas 1.7 million. But in 2023, the forecast is for the first time ever, California is going to surpass Florida in orange production for the year, expected to produce 45 million boxes of oranges, compared to Florida only producing 16 million. So again, 23 years down from 233 million to 16 million. So again, I knew the problems in Florida and the citrus for orange growing was bad, but I had no idea until I was staring at this graph to see just how quickly and how badly the numbers have fallen off over the last 2 decades.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That is really, yeah. I knew it was down dramatically. I think the last time I looked at the stats, it really was like, wow, but this is even worse than I thought. Do you know what the output from Texas is?
For this year, it's projected to be 1.1 million. So again, Texas is the one
Yeah.
that has stayed fair, like I said, 1.7 to 1.1, down slightly in 20 years. But
Mhm.
the big one was Florida coming down
Yeah.
so far. And again,
Yeah.
nationwide, I mean, in the early 2000s, we're producing about 300 million boxes.
Uh-huh.
This year, we're on pace for somewhere in the neighborhood of about 60. I mean, it's just incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. That is. That is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope. I mean, last I read, they didn't have a solution, or there was no way to sufficiently address the greening disease. Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, honestly, the impact on that production is just wild. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So again, I know, our markets are mostly the row crops, not so much the citrus folks, but nonetheless, it's agriculture
yeah,
is agriculture. And this
yeah,
was rather stark. So our hearts go out to the folks in Florida who are having to deal with this problem. So
yeah. It's true. I mean, now that I'm fully participating in the ag market like I never have before. Now that I'm part of Meister Media and Crop Life, I think the whole thing about how susceptible and vulnerable agriculture is to disease, to pests, and you can really appreciate just the um, just how tentative things are sometimes. And yeah, you're right. It's just it's hard. It seems like a personal thing. It's like, wow, that's hard to contend with. So
yep.
absolutely, hearts go out to that industry.
Yes. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us for this edition of Retail Week. I'm Eric Sfiligoj on behalf of myself, Lara Sowinski, and everyone at Crop Life. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again soon. If you have questions or comments about today's episode of Retail Week, contact us by email or Twitter, or type your message in the comments section below. Your feedback is important to us. We will try our best to address your thoughts in next week's episode, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.